All right, open it up. I'll open up the Board of Selectmen meeting for Monday, December 19th, 2016. Yep, for a Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah.
Let's rock it. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Alright, first up is to approve manifest. Should make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve the accounts payable for 12/19/2016 and 12/20/2016.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Next up is the approval of the outstanding minutes.
We do the non-public also?
And the non-public, yeah, public and non-public.
Okay.
Here you go, Chris.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the non-published public minutes for October 3rd, 2016, October 31st, 2016, November 2nd, 2016, and November 3rd, 2016,
October 17th, too.
and also November 21st, 2016, and December 5th, 2016. You can say October.
17th.
I don't have those ones here.
You're doing the non-public first?
Yeah. You want to include that one, or wait on that one, the 17th?
Yeah, no, I'll include it, October 17th, 2016.
I'll second it, and just for a point of discussion, Donna had, I think it was the non-public, had,
Yeah, as amended, one,
yeah, as amended one, but she had put the comment, her comment was built into the minutes.
yeah.
Which,
I can,
that should come out,
yeah, just delete that sentence.
yeah.
Yeah, I have it here.
All right, all in favor of accepting the non-public meetings?
Right,
Aye. Want to do the public ones?
yep, and then I'd like to motion we accept the minutes of the December 5th, 2016 Select Board meeting, as amended.
A second?
Second?
Any comments? All in favor? Aye. You keeping up with us over there, Dawn?
That's why we have video.
Got it. All right, BOS reports from assigned boards and committees. Budget committee?
Budget committee, they had all, I should say all of them, some of the directors were in and gave their thoughts. Had Gunner, we had the
Courtney.
library, and Courtney.
I actually watched it on
The
TV.
town clerk, yeah.
For a while.
Town clerk, yes. So,
Cool. The planning board met with Bruce Mayberry, the consultant that is working on the impact fees. We reviewed the fire, and we reviewed the school and the rec department. Did he contact you?
No, but I hear it's coming.
Yes. So he's supposed to contact you for the the updated Marston numbers, and that, so he's gonna compare that with the 10-year plan that he was, given, and kind of look at that a little bit more. And on the school, he was gonna go back and, give some examples of what could be, what qualifies as, something that could be impact fees could apply to. And he also wanted to modify, some of his calculations, and I forget exactly what. Do you remember, John, what the calculation was that he was gonna modify? No, on the school. Forget, he was gonna update, I think he had a error in there that he was gonna change. Yeah, I forget, yeah, it was minor. Right. Whatever it was. And so he won't get those done till January, which I think you have alluded to that we need to, for the encumbersome, that we need to.
Yes.
Yep. And CIP was done, right?
Yes.
Finished up?
Yep.
All right, you're up, Chris.
All right, let's see. Most importantly, we need a plow driver.
Yeah.
We're down, we're okay most days of the week, but some of the people that we have other jobs, and if storms fall on the wrong days, it's gonna be tight with the people we have. We're looking for a CDL air brake license, somebody with some plowing, road plowing experience. They'd be driving one of our trucks. We'd also entertain talks with anybody that's got their own large truck. John's just engaged another contractor with a pickup truck or a one ton, but that's not enough muscle for what we need to do. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions on where we can look for such, I know we're not alone. There's a lot of postings for that kind of work, but it's going to be really challenging. I think it's Thursdays or Wednesdays and Thursdays or something there. I don't remember the exact day of the week, but we're going to be real tight. So we're still looking. And Johnny's called in all the favors that he knows and all the people that he knows, and he's got, a nephew and he's cashing in all those favors, and we're still looking, but spread the word. We're also looking for a rec assistant. You talked to Courtney about that briefly a couple weeks ago. That position's been posted. We haven't heard a whole lot on it. It's a tough time of year, but that's not as urgent. We have time on that. Our new officers police officers are working their way toward the academy. They have their physical agility test tomorrow. I think that's the last thing they have to do, and then they're off to school in January. The Harvey easement's closing on Friday. And all that documentation looks like it's finally final. Santa made his big journey on the fire trucks yesterday. I don't know if you went by your house. I think
I wasn't home.
You missed it?
Yeah, I did. Neighbor posted it.
I think it was 2 crews and it's like 3.5 hours apiece. It takes a while to get around town. But I know the chief was still smiling afterwards, so they got through it. I think lastly, I've had a resident request that we make our budget documents available in a spreadsheet format rather than just the PDF that we give to the committees. And it's going to make the same request to the school, I believe. And I just wanted to run it by you, make sure you were okay with it. I think from a mechanical point of view, we can do it. It takes a little bit of time. It's not onerous, it's just another thing to do. It's gonna have to become part of our routine. It's not a.
Will it be the final budget? Is that what?
I think the request is for each of the major drafts that go to the committee, which is, it's a couple. really, we do a first draft and then we do a review and then a final before the budget committee votes on it. So we would do it as each of those major drafts that go either to you or to the budget committee, we'd just post them on the website and in a pretty stripped down spreadsheet version
Yeah,
with as much descriptive information as we can. Ours is pretty intuitive in terms of what the description is what it is. So I think from a user point of view, it'd be pretty easy, but,
can you run through the steps as far as how it's gonna go from how you use it into the Excel and then,
well, we use Excel for all of our working,
okay,
it comes, we get it out of our bookkeeping system as fast as we can.
Okay.
And get it into Excel. So all it will be is a formatting and a cleaning up thing to post it, in that process.
okay. I think the key thing would be just to make sure it's posted as a draft and not,
Yeah,
and somehow signal that, and,
yeah.
I mean, part of me thinks, let's try it for, the next budget cycle and see how it goes, and but will we be able to see how many clicks are down?
Yeah, we can track that stuff, and I said, well, we can do it without a whole lot of fanfare and see if anybody takes advantage of it. If nobody
Right.
uses it, then we'll stop.
Right,
But,
or just put up the final one at some point.
yeah, okay. And that is all I have.
General mail? Did you have any
You-
questions for Chris?
No?
Yeah, you have two things here. One is a collection of condolence cards. George Ellison, who worked for the highway department for a long time, passed away last week. As well as something for Pam's family. You haven't been together. And then we had somebody, I don't know who, one of our board members or chairman or something, requested something from the Municipal Association Legal Department. And we have always given the Municipal Association a list of who is authorized to do that, and it's all our chairs and
Right.
elected officials. So that is an update to that list, just to make it current. Same practice, new names.
It's the one for Pam. There you go.
Thank you.
Anything else on that one?
No, this is mail, nothing urgent. Just look through it when you get a chance.
Okay. We'll go through the lot mergers, unmergers. So why don't we take the first one, which is the lot 7053. Did you have questions on any of them? I mean, my questions, I think I had sent to you and you had sent to us from Avatar. Just bear with me for a second. So I think my only one that I think, was that 0.1 acres and whether or not, I mean, all they did was use Google Earth, which, unless they've got,
We did drive-bys on each of them.
did you drive by on
Yeah,
that one? 'Cause that's such a small,
It's, she had pictures on a couple of them. Yeah, this was clearly a unused spot, not even a driveway, there was no...
I looked at the satellite on the tax maps, but
Yep.
it doesn't get real.
I'll hand you this, but this is the kind of the master lot, and this is looking into that subject triangle. So there's not really any evidence of...
I mean, it's just so there's nothing from what, at least from what we could see from the street view, that it was being used at all.
No. I don't know what the future use could be.
Well, that's, yeah,
That's not our...
right. Only thing I can see is if they want to sell it to an abutter.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be done with There's other ways to do that too, but
We make the motions as we go through them,
Or just do them all,
or? Okay, all right.
yeah. I mean, I had the other question I had, they're all gonna become non-conforming lots,
Yeah.
which the law doesn't state that they're conforming, so they remain in that unconforming. I guess my question was just whether or not we make that as a motion, but in the RSA.
Yeah, the language in the RSA is that it doesn't solve that or resolve
Right.
that, or whatever that
So,
language said, that doesn't cure it, that was the,
did you have any insight from your experience?
With the lots all have individual deeds, then they were merged. So they weren't lots that were added parcels to an existing lot. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were doing a lot line adjustment, you just made the lot bigger.
Right.
And that they were actually two existing lots. It's on their record.
According to the reviews, that they weren't.
yeah, we have the
All the deeds show. that-
classic old lakeside subdivision
Well, I know where all the lots are, yeah.
plans. Yeah, no, but you know those, the vintage of those,
Sure.
that's what we're working with, yeah. And the deeds. Yeah.
This is based on Avatar's review, and then did Sue review it at
Yep.
all?
Yeah, there's plenty of back and forth between Sue and Avatar before the letter gets crafted, but,
I mean, I looked at the deeds that they sent. There was only one lot that they didn't send the deed with and that's the one I asked about there. Or one property that's being unmerged.
yeah.
So that RSA 674, we call them 39 AA, so after December 31st of this year, this request couldn't be made again?
That's been extended.
Oh, it's been
Oh, it
extended,
has?
okay.
The legislature last year stretched that deadline out to 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we could see even more.
And I thought it was 5 more years.
Is it, it's,
21,
oh, is it that late?
I thought so.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, originally we were up against a deadline this
Yep.
month, but that got changed by the infinite wisdom of the folks in Concord.
You want to make a motion? Unless you have more questions.
No, I have no more question. We'll do all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
No?
Do you mind doing them I mean, just list the map and lot and the owner separately? Only
Okay.
because if there's an issue 10 years down the road.
Yeah, I'll read each one.
If you don't mind,
I'll read, yeah,
thank you.
okay. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, the Nottingham Select Board approve the restoration of involuntary merged lots request from Richard and Maureen Morrissey, owners of 19 Cove Road, and agree to unmerge the lots currently known as map 16, lot 80.
No, 68.
68, excuse me, lot 80, thank you.
I will second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. I'd like to make the motion, the Nottingham Select Board approve the restoration of involuntary merged lots request from Caroline, help me with this last name, Sufrin?
I think it's Saffron.
Zaffron, owner of a vacant parcel on Raymond Road, and agree to unmerge the lots currently known as map 68, lot 10.
Any discussion? All in favor?
And the Nottingham Select Board approved the restoration of involuntary merged lots request from John and Virginia Mills, owners of 30 Tuckaway Shores Road, and agree to unmerge the lots currently known as map 70, lot 53.
A second. Any discussion? All in favor? No appointments?
Nope.
Alrighty. Start with the general business. The 2016 encumbrances. So we've got, the hazard mitigation plan that's still being worked on, as well as the impact fees that are still being worked on, that we need to continue to allot those funds for.
The dollar amount on the impact fees, BCM planning,
Yeah, you said
BCM
that.
planning, the number won't be that big in the end. I think we may see an invoice this month, later this month, and we may also see some proceeds from the school, so that would
Correct.
reduce that, but I didn't want to guess at either of those, so this is the full dollar amount. We can't spend any more than we
Contracted.
contracted for, so this is more of a not to exceed than anything, but,
And has Stratford Regional, have they sent in any, or they wait till the end?
no, the way this is a federal grant paying for this. This
Okay.
isn't actually town money. Well, it passes through us on
Right.
its way to them. The way the matching funds work, we end up, spending our match money first, and the cash flow is a little bit later, so
Got it.
there's a big dance around how to time all that stuff, and, so they've done work, haven't billed us for anything yet.
Okay.
Make the motion?
Yep, go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion, the board encumbers a total of $10,500 in 2016 funds for contracts and agreements already executed, including $5,000 to Stratford Regional Planning Commission for the hazard mitigation plan update, and $5,500 to BCM Planning for work on impact fees.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Right.
The election.
So we have 20 slots on the March ballot. I think there's a general nervousness that we're gonna have 20 people to run those 20 slots.
Maybe 18.
So I wanted to put that in front of you, and ask if there's anything that we can be doing. We thought about, mailing something to folks. It's the way the newsletter calendar works, we're not gonna be able to get anything in there before the filing
Yeah.
period opens, or ends for that matter.
Yeah.
So we can't really take advantage of that. We can do things like bulk mailing relatively cheap, but,
Whenever you want.
I don't know if that's a
mean-
viable way of getting the candidates that you want.
Right.
Oh, is it on the town site? Did I see it there, or? No.
I don't know if we have anything yet.
thought I saw it
Election
somewhere else. Oh,
openings.
When you come in the door, I know you can see it there, but.
Oh, yeah. We've got flyer-like things. I don't know if we put it on the town website yet.
It's waiting, it is, I've
It's-
put the information there, but now we've got a little bit more flexibility about when things are published. So it's currently live on the town clerk and election pages. It will go under news and announcements when some of those other things get a little bit more.
It's on deck
airtime.
for front
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think next week is when I've got it scheduled to post.
Yeah.
So sign up's gonna be by February 3rd?
Yep.
Any ideas, Tyler?
Oh, I think people will come out to do it, I think.
Anything before we, like, do a mass mailing? And I get a, when's our next select board meeting?
January 9th?
When's the next newsletter come out?
No,
too
that's,
late.
it's too late.
Too late.
It's gonna come out like after the fact.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You get these you get, so far you've got this posted, I know out here,
I sent one up to the recycling center, we can put one at Demons, I've sent it over to the library. I've reached out to the forum, asking if they would be willing to do a free posting for us in regards to these positions. I heard back from Steve Surratt, the board of directors is discussing it. I'm hoping to have an answer this week.
okay.
We've told everybody, I've sent it to each member of the budget committee. We can send it to all the planning board members to,
Yeah. And what's your thought as far as like if we were to do a bulk mailing, kind of just,
Yeah, I think we dressed this up a little bit, but
Yeah.
I guess that's not gonna get somebody to say, geez, maybe I will run for selectman. But it might keep somebody from missing the window,
right?
you know, or make it appear that it's easier to get involved than they may think it is, which there's some value in that. But
What do you think about a bulk mailing?
I'd like to make sure we get, I mean, I believe people will run, but I mean, I'm worried that even some that may want to run will forget the February 3rd cutoff, you know, but might cost a little money to do a bulk mailing.
yeah, did we get a number on that? You were looking at that the other day.
I think it was $350.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So I mean, you've got two options. I think it can be a little less, and you can do a simple postcard, you know,
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
4.5 by 5 or whatever it is. Short, sweet, and simple. That's all you have. You've only got one side, the other side being for the mailing information. If you bump it up to anything above that, that's the $350. And at that point, it becomes letter size, so you can put as much text as you want.
Right.
Trifold, two-side, you know, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. But
It'd be more time for us to prepare it, you know, put a sticker on it to keep it from
yes.
opening and that kind of
Right.
stuff, so. A postcard would be a "we need you" message and a direction to go to the website.
I mean, I think part of me says, you know, of these positions that are currently seated and the terms that are coming up, are the people thinking of running. But there are some of these are currently not filled or resigned positions. So
Yeah, budget committee.
it's either that or we start to really look at really hard and fast how many, I mean, some of these positions could be combined, some of the sizes of the boards could be decreased.
Oh, that's with the
Yeah,
email that Chris sent.
Yeah, that's the second part of this. You had asked me to
Yeah.
kind of list those things out. And I gave you a list of all the things that are available to you by law that I thought were related. Sizes of boards, existence of boards, appointment versus election of all kinds of different things. And didn't get really too far down the road with any of them. It was just what are you interested in thinking about kind of thing. So I talked with Donna about that briefly today. She said if we could all just go back and look at that list and see what you want to spend time on, or what you want me to spend time on researching, that, you know, we could narrow that list down if there's anything you want to consider there.
so is she thinking that we consider something because some of them we would have to bring to the voters?
Almost everything will have to go to the
Go to the
voters.
voters.
Yeah. So, you know, if we're gonna do it this year, then we'd need to probably get into it at your next meeting.
Yeah,
there's a few weeks away, so.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we spend the $350
postcard?
or whatever on the postcard, get it out there. If we still, come March, find ourselves in the position where we either got someone getting elected on 12 write-in votes and/or empty seats, then I think we spend some time in the following year looking at other options. Does that sound
That
reasonable?
sounds reasonable, yeah.
So,
Okay. Easy enough.
Yeah. On the postcard.
and I'd say either, whichever you feel most comfortable with, either the postcard or the letter,
Okay.
up to you. But at least then we gave it a chance.
Yeah. And when we after February 4th, we'll know, right? How many people signed up to,
You actually, there is a window between the closing of the filing period and the posting of the warrant, so if you found
Okay.
yourself,
we could do something.
you could do something in between
Yeah.
there if you wanted to.
If we get nobody.
Bring something to town meeting, you still have time, you know. There's a, public education and learning curve to it, but,
Yeah. I mean, part of me thinks is if we find ourselves in that position, that we communicate at town meeting that there needs to be, we need to look at this. Because I think we're just in this stage in the demographics of where we are in town, and it could change in 10 years, but right now, we've got to address it. And to me, to continue to have people be on boards because someone wrote them in on a few votes, that's,
that's better than nothing.
it's better than nothing.
But it's not,
But it's not really people that really wanted to run it, it's because it was an open position and they didn't want somebody else to get it or something. I mean, that's,
Yeah, I don't think,
their heart and soul, may not really be in it.
yeah, I don't think this is unique to Nottingham.
No, it's not.
We've seen, we were talking with Courtney 2 weeks ago about volunteering
Volunteers
there.
in
and,
general.
we're always taxed at the fire department, and it's definitely a demographic thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the fire department, we increased staff because they couldn't get volunteers. So I think we just need to let's go that route.
Okay.
All right, next is the solar proposal, which will. I think
Yeah, Donna asked
had
that we
us to
hold off on
hold
that
off.
one.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable that you're getting the answers you were looking for?
So the one concern I have with it that I think we need to talk to them about is them taking a position on the mortgage for the fire, and everything else looks pretty good, like that. So the warranty, they'll assign the warranty to us if we were to go that route.
Yep.
Hang on a second. But they'll take a subordinated position on the fire station's bond.
bond.
We're okay here because we don't have one.
Yep.
And remember, I asked that question when we met with them, and they were like, yeah, but we can negotiate that. I think we need to negotiate that.
Just make that go away.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just, they don't need it. We can put there's probably some other language that says that if it was to ever be taken over, that's not part of the bond and the property. There's probably
Yeah.
some language that they could have that does that. But everything else that, actually, I had a, let me, I mean, there's some other sign. that was my major one, that, and to make sure that if we were to take it over, that the warranties on the.
Yeah.
So. All right, so we'll put that off till, did you have anything
I'll
that
wait till
like scared you or
Oh, nothing didn't scare me, just,
alerted you or?
Yeah, I was underwhelmed with the numbers. You know, I was optimistic that it would save us more faster.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, I look at, and
Yeah, I mean, an incremental out-of-pocket increase for the first handful of years on this building was not what I was anticipating. I was expecting break even until you buy it, and then you work your way through that cost. It's not a lot of money, but it's,
yeah,
but I'm generally pessimistic about energy prices, so.
I think they'll go up. I think we'll see them go up.
Yeah, it's just a question of how fast. And
Right.
I think with all the, you know, the clamoring to get transmission lines and gas lines in here, you know, all over the place is telling us that supply is getting tight, so. I think
And those
they're gonna go up
projects-
faster here than they do nationally,
Yeah,
and,
and those are projects that won't happen quick.
if at all,
Yeah.
yeah. When's Seabrook license up? Are you gonna live to see that?
I don't know.
Do you know that?
yeah, I think so, I mean, they,
It's less than 40 years,
yeah.
which is what we're talking about on these panels.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I worry about this, so I don't know if solar, enough about them that in 20 years, will it be like, you know, do you really get them off the building? I don't think so, but, 'cause I've asked a couple people for some help, just in some of the questions here, that are doing it, like, every day. 'Cause like you said, I thought there was some places out there, I know that you reap the rewards right from the get-go. I mean, maybe not a lot, but you got something, you weren't paying, you know, but, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, if there's anybody in your shop that's good at this stuff,
Yeah,
run it by them.
so. But it's, I mean, I'd like to see more of it, I mean, you know, in the future, hopefully, I mean, maybe out the dump or some of these parcels of land that nothing's going on, we can put,
Yeah. Solar
do
farm,
something with them, you know?
Okay.
0.1 acres.
Faces north.
Barrington, did Barrington go?
No, they never,
with
they,
solar? They didn't go with?
they ran into some neighborly opposition, and it,
Those guys shared that with us, right?
crashed and burned, yeah.
All right.
On aesthetics of all things.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that so much.
And the school needs to wait till they redo their roof?
Yeah.
Right. All right, next up then, so we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting, for solar.
Yeah, and I'll drill down on that subordination question.
And then, all right, next up is the USA Springs bankruptcy.
Yeah, so we haven't talked publicly about that at all. Just for anybody that's listening at home that hasn't read online, there's been an order to sell it, which we were part of, negotiating that settlement, some outstanding issues there. The order came out about 10 days ago, and establishes a kind of timeline. There's a due diligence period in the purchase agreement for the buyer to do his due diligence, and assuming that he wants to continue after doing that due diligence, the sale will close probably the second week of January. at that point, we will be kind of out of the period that we can't talk much about it. We have some risk as a creditor that we could poison the sale if we were to talk about it publicly too much, so we're not able to discuss it publicly in anywhere near the detail that we can talk about it privately, as you have been all along. So that's where that sits, and I suspect the board will want to do something after that date to do more public education about how we got where we are and where we're headed going forward.
Yeah, I think we all agree that that's important.
Yeah, so we can do that after the closing, assuming that the closing happens, but one thing, that's gonna take some time and energy, and we have a lot to do in January with all the other stuff that we're working on and leading up to town meeting, so I threw out to you, well, one thing we could talk about publicly and start getting ready for is if the sale closes, what do you do with the proceeds? And so I wrote you a memo about some options for that. And you don't have to act on it now, but if you want to narrow it down a little bit, I can come back to you with something more final once I get your sense of what you want to do, if anything. And then we could, talk about specifics in those couple meetings that you have in January, because of all the things that I could think of that you could do, most of them will require some involvement from town meeting.
Right.
So it was just an opportunity to get a jump on that discussion. There's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes about getting ready for what's coming, but that is a piece that you could talk about in the hypothetical. If it does close, then what would you like to do?
Do you remember the December 1 mailing? Did you
Yeah,
see
well, you said-
the today? Yeah.
Today's I saw, but I don't have it with me. Could pull it up.
Here, Tyler, I got it here printed out. Just pay no attention to that. Is just scrap paper reused.
Okay.
The options are on the second page.
Yeah, so we stand to take in at least 800,000 in back taxes and interest. The exact number will get sorted out come January, and the check should arrive shortly thereafter. So that is a big number in our world, and if you were to do nothing with it, it would just get treated like any other back taxes that get paid and placed in the fund balance.
Which we'd be pretty hefty on.
Yeah, that would put us, I think that would put us in a position of being more cash rich than we would ever need to be.
I like the option 5, which is to pay down what is really kind of our largest debt right now. The Mulligan Forest. I mean, I think that would be, that's got another 10 years on it, and if we can free up 10 years of that bond having to be paid out, I mean, I think that makes good use of the money. It's got the higher interest rate versus kind of, fire trucks or holding the money, for next year for any expenditures for capital equipment. I also like the idea of an expendable trust, some dollar amount to cover any studies, attorney fees, or anything we may be faced with, if it proceeds as the buyer has indicated he would like to proceed. because there's gonna be a lot of people impacted by that. And we could set time frame on that trust fund.
Yeah, that can lapse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then be used in other ways to help offset taxes. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I see kind of a point in all of them that Chris has put there. I do think we would have to create a fund to fight any kind of water extraction. I believe paying down the debt on the Mulligan Forest debt would be a good idea, but I also look at the purchasing some of the fire truck, you know, that's gonna help the taxpayer, I believe, if we did. So, I mean, I see good points in just about all of them. But
Well, I mean, if you look at, we got 489 left on Mulligan, right? So, so that's half. And when we still have half, I wouldn't think that we would want to put that half in the expendable trust fund. You know,
No, we
that's,
couldn't conceivably need that in a year, no.
so, I mean, the other thing we could do is, so we could pay down Mulligan, we could do the expendable trust fund, and we can put the rest in the,
Leave it there.
just leave it there, and then when capital improvement items come up, we just pull it from there, as well as any reserve funds that they have.
Yeah, if the CIP ends up being accurate in terms of what we need when, and we keep depositing money in the reserve funds for equipment as we have been doing at that pace,
Right.
we're gonna have enough to do everything for the next 3 or 4 years, with the exception of a fire truck. Depending on which kind of truck and when, we may even have enough to do that. If we're looking at 2018 for a fire truck.
Well, was it two, how much would go into locked?
How much would,
How much of that 800 or is the approximation of the lock tax? So I think we need to get clarification.
oh,
too.
land use,
The land use
change?
change tax. Because that would go to the conservation fund. So it's
Yeah, we're gonna have to drill down the exact
exact
number on
amount
that,
of
yeah.
that. So,
Yeah,
what's the number on there though, right?
no, we don't have a number. It's,
112. Not it. I mean, I don't know, paying off, the Mulligan Forest debt can only,
I mean, to me, it makes sense that, okay, we take whatever we get, minus the lock, and then go forward to, you know, I want Donna's take on this too, but go forward with paying off Mulligan, highest interest rate right now, and then allocate the remaining for the capital improvement items that are coming up the following year.
okay.
The other thing too, we have, for the next 2 years, the highway is gonna be on Lakeview, right?
Yeah, and that's
One half one year, one half another year.
Yep. That's baked into the road reconstruction warrant article that,
Right.
you know, But it's the same size that we've done historically, so in terms of tax impact, it'll be very stable.
All right, and do we feel we can do that with that amount? That road with that amount? I would imagine that there's gonna be some engineering in there. It's not gonna be as,
There's two ways you can do it. You can make it as good as you can for what you have. To do that road in a way that, would, from an engineering point of view, be, if it's possible, to make it really a really good road, would probably be a budget buster. It's a really hard road.
I mean, not saying that Johnny doesn't know what he's doing, because he's been doing it for so long, but, I mean, have we had anyone outside take a look at that?
No, we have not had any outside expertise, and we can go down that road. Johnny's approach at this point is going to be, his preference would be to try and reconstruct the road to exactly the same grade as it is now, to the extent possible. And we were talking about, getting some pretty exact shots done of that before we start, and try to rebuild to that rather than try to correct every single challenge on that road, because it's going to be to engineer that road without having pretty significant impact on the downhill downhill owners on that. It's going to be very hard, or really, really expensive.
Yeah.
So if we can, put a better surface down, grub out where we need to, and get back to the grade that it's at, we can minimize the impact on the people that have already, if you ride around, you see where people have kind of made it all work for themselves, given what the road does to their property. If we can just replicate that with a good surface that will last a while.
And put it on the list so it gets maintained more preventive than, like, let it fall into the disarray that it has.
Yeah, I think once you get it, if you do it, you grub it out and you get a good bed in it and you get the surface where it is, but in much better shape, it's much easier and simpler and cheaper and more likely to be maintained that way. It's been on the short-term list for a while, so it's easier to, I think, to let stuff go, and it's about to get redone. Don't spend a week on that spot now. That wouldn't surprise me if that has entered into the thinking thus far, but I think if you want to engineer it, really engineer it, we should go back and talk about it again, and how much do we want to spend on it, and how many years do you want to spend working on it. It's an order of tens of thousands in cost to engineer it on what we're planning to be a $400,000 effort over 2 years.
Which is a lot. It's not a long road.
No, it is far and away the worst and most expensive road project that we have on the radar.
Yeah.
So I think to engineer it, it makes it a 3-year project at the tax impact that we're having, and that of course has cascading effects everywhere else, but what's kind of off where we are now, but if you want to get into that.
Well, I'm
we
just
should do
thinking,
that.
I see that as something that could be a runaway expense that, like, you couldn't, so my thinking is if we, if we knew that was gonna be more, then that could easily be, but it sounds like that the plan is doable and maintainable, and as long as we once it gets done, as long as I think the town stays on top of it.
I don't think that'll be as challenging. We do a lot of those, let's go fix this trouble spot for a few days
Right.
on this road. That gets easier to do when you got a good starting point. But whatever we do with the proceeds, if we do get proceeds from the USA Spring Sale, we still got a manageable cushion of
Yep.
fund balance to work with.
Yep.
You know, and we're trending the right way on that stuff, so.
So, I mean, I
Okay.
think my thinking is maybe talk to Donna about.
She's in the same neighborhood that you are. I've had
So
a-
then I think we
yeah.
just need to make a decision and move forward with that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
We're all in the same wavelength, so
Okay, I'll drill down on those and get some language
that
together.
sounds good.
And try and take a guess at the size on that trust fund idea. You know, we haven't really talked about a scope or size, but.
Right. We could probably look at past, year-end reports and see what was spent on that attorney line.
Yep.
And then the study, I think, but I don't know, that should be probably pretty simple, that, the Ballestero study that was spent.
Yeah, if it does go that way, it's a multi-year process. We've got 2-3 town meetings worth of
Yeah,
activity there, so we don't have to know everything now. We just have to leave the select board with enough flexibility to act next year if necessary, so.
sounds good.
Okay, that's enough to keep me moving.
Great. All right, is there anything else?
I have nothing else.
No non-public items?
Nothing.
All right. Take a motion?
make a motion to adjourn?
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.